All right, PSN, Zachary Weiss here with Cherie Lea. Cherie, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, and you?
Oh, hanging in, ready for some basketball. Hopefully it's a lot more, but we'll see what happens.
All right, yes.
Just for you, Cherie, just how did this time off just help you as a coach refining your toolbox and maybe even just refreshing yourself mentally as you prepare for this upcoming season?
Um, it was a great time. Obviously, we missed basketball and being around our players and working them out, but a lot of it, I was doing a lot of clinics with other coaches and getting new information, a ton of new ideas from a defensive perspective, as far as like new zones and playing man and terminology. So the beginning couple of months, I was watching a lot of film and breaking it down to see where we can improve at and things we can get better at. And then, looking at our team, who we have returning, who's our incoming players, and how we can switch things up and play defensively in a different manner each and every game.
For you personally, just how much is coaching just a never-ending job in terms of just absorbing information, and how do you decide as a coach what information you keep, what information you borrow, and kind of marriage that together?
Um, yeah, I mean, I love what I do, so I don't really figure it to be a job. I'm excited when I find new things out, and a lot of times I just look at the players we have and our incoming players and how things fit for us. Certain things you can look at and you may like it, but if it doesn't fit your players and the style you want to play, then I'll keep it in my back pocket. So I never really throw anything away. I just kind of tweak it, or I'll say, hey, I'm gonna hold on to this, and if we have these types of players, this may suit them better. But everything that I learned, I sock it away in my mind so that I can look back and say, you know what, this will be a great time to implement this, or I can wait, and or obviously something we can do right away, and we can be very successful at it.
Without giving too much away, just what do you see out of this group from that side of the ball?
This group, I think we can pick up obviously full court defensively with our guard play. We're long on the inside with our post players, a lot of 6'4", 6'3" action, so we can be big on the inside. So I think we have where we can play in different styles. We can get up and pressure. We can play back in zone. We can press. So this, I think this is going to be a very fun group that we have, and just kind of seeing what works well. And maybe one game this works well, then the next game it doesn't, and being able to switch and adjust and adapt.
For you personally, how do you feel defensively last things were, and maybe do you feel it was a work in progress for them as much as it was you as well, because there was a lot of learning aspect and a lot of responsibility placed on you last season?
Yeah, last season I think we put in a different type of defense. We had originally played a lot of pack line, and we changed our press up a little bit as well. So we threw a lot at them, and I thought they handled it. Especially our seniors kind of went with the flow, and they took our younger players under their wings and just kind of mentored with Nina Aho and Paige Canning. Were very talkative, vocal, and really got out and was leaders out there on the court for us. So I thought it was a lot, but I thought we were able to handle it, and we just kind of made adjustments the way we needed. Certain games, one defensive scheme will work, but watching film, always knew I had multiple ideas in my head. So this was the best option. But if we get in the game and something looks better, we'll adjust and play that defense as well.
With the challenges of not only having a non-conference schedule but getting games for a non-conference schedule, how important is it going to be for you as a defensive coach to stick that identity in, because there obviously might not be much turnover to get a scout in?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with our software that we have. Making sure our players know what our principles are. If this action happens, this is what we're going to do no matter what. No matter if you know all the plays or all the sets, we're going to automatically do this. And I think that's the biggest thing that we're implementing this year, is to get these principles down that everybody knows it, so that if you can't really turn around and have that scouting report like you want it, we still know what we want to do, our identity, and we're going to dictate.
Given that it's still a work in progress, given the limitations of this year, just how important is it going to be for the players to keep things in perspective on the defensive end and not get frustrated if they miss an assignment or they're not in the right position?
I think it's going to be huge this year. This is a year unlike any other year, obviously with COVID and a lot of things going on in the world. But our biggest thing is, we'll learn from it. Obviously, we're going to record and film, and no one has ever played a perfect defensive game yet that I know of. So, a lot of things that I see and I tell them, like, you can talk your way through it. You may not be in the right position all the time, but if we're talking and communicating and playing with effort, that makes up a lot of things and can hide a lot of mistakes. And then we can correct it and moving forward.
How important is it to make that defense that focal point in practice so the players just get as comfortable as they can with it, however you're able to practice it with the limitations right now?
I think it's very important. We have that opportunity right now where we focus on both offense and defense, because I'm a firm believer that when you're playing your best offense, it really shows your defense. And so we do a very good job of implementing both of those things. That I need you to play your best on offense so that defensively we know exactly how to keep people out of the middle, how to close out, how to pressure the ball. And so those are the things that we do on a daily basis. Different drills we have that we implemented versus also our plays that we put in and being able to defend it, because our offense is one of the best offense in the league. We tend to be in the top 5. So what better other way to practice our defense than against one of the best offenses?
Duquesne always strives themselves on being a family, but with that family, you're able to also push each other to do better. Obviously, you played under Dan. You're obviously coaching under Dan. You had Vanessa, who obviously Duquesne player, coached under Dan. Obviously, the same thing with Stasia, and obviously you're very familiar with Matt. Just how is that dynamic? Just having and Stasia as well, if I didn't say that. Just how is that dynamic? Having all of you together, being able to challenge each other, knowing at the end of the day you all want the best for each other.
I think it's a great thing. I love that we all have a voice, and we can talk things out and have ideas. And sometimes we'll put things out there in practice. We'll see it. We may not like it, but we'll come back to it and say, hey, we can tweak it this way. But we have that line of open communications and dialogue where, which I absolutely love. I love being able to talk ideas and come up with something and say, hey, how do you figure this will work? And we all kind of chime in and see if it's a best fit for us, or if we need to tweak it, or if this is not the right thing or the right time for it.
Non-conference basketball is kind of that time to iron out the kinks with everything. I mean, there's naturally an understanding that fouls are going to be called more, assignments are going to be missed a little bit easier, and the little things are going to happen. Just how important maybe is it to have those non-conference slates, not just to give you momentum as a team, but just to give you a better idea of what to look for defensively as the year goes on?
I think you find a lot about yourself in a non-conference because you play different styles, and I think a lot of familiarity you have with yourselves and your conference opponent with the coaches that are in place. So non-conference give you different styles. You figure out a lot about your team, where they're at, improvements to make going into conference play, so that when you get into conference play, you're starting to play at your best and know exactly what you have and what you need to improve on, and then work on that on a daily basis.
Perfect. Get you out of here on this one, Cherie. Just looking ahead, just what should fans look for defensively as you guys continue to identify that defensive identity?
I think you're gonna look for us playing some pressure defense, up tempo, trying to get in the passing lanes, um, boxing out and rebound. We want to get stops early and further up the court so that we can get out and transition for our offense.
Awesome. Duquesne schedule, non-conference yet to be released. Follow PSN, follow goduquesne.com for that information. But for now, Cherie, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck, and we'll keep in touch as the season goes on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.